The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Leadership on Purpose, the podcast series. I'm your host, Kathryn, and this is where we shatter the status quo and dive deep into the raw, unfiltered stories of those who are embracing their inner alignment. If you're tired of the cookie-cutter approach to success and you crave a life that resonates with your true self, you are in the right place. Join me each week as we uncover powerful insights from those who have had the courage to lean into their purpose, live authentically, and create a life they were made for. This isn't just a conversation. It's a movement. This is a revolution of authentic leadership, where we don't just talk about change, we live it. And you can too. Thank you guys for joining. I'm really excited for you to meet my next guest, Juliet Sosa. She is an up-and-coming singer and songwriter. And her and I had a really great conversation at an event a couple weeks ago and talked about how the music industry and her entry into that and her singing has really been transformative in her life. And so, we're going to chat about that and talk about her purpose and go from there. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I feel like everything always aligns in like the right timing.
I know. And, I just talked to somebody else about that, about listening to the signs and leaning into the signs.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I think is really important for people to remember is there is this saying, right? Go with the flow. And I think go with the flow is really interesting because people think it means just go do what everybody else is doing. But that's actually not what it means at all. It actually means go with the flow of least resistance in your life, right?
Yeah.
So like in the past couple of years, I've really worked on eliminating a lot of resistance in my life because it allowed the doors to open up for me to go do the things that I'm really meant for. Mm-hmm. And in your case, you're in the music industry here in LA. What is that like for you? Because you must bump up against rejection and resistance.
Yeah.
It's like, two things really. How do you maintain a vibration of flow? Mm-hmm. And how did you know that this is what you were really called to do?
So since I was really little, I've always loved music. And in 2020, I had like a near-death experience. I was losing blood. I had an issue internally. And so I had to go into emergency surgery. And after that, it kind of woke me up to you should really experience life to the fullest and you should do what you want to do. And it was always in my heart to do music. I was a worship leader for 3.5 years at my church. And so I already had a little feel for being on stage and singing and working with people and music, but just in the church. And I came out here and I started meeting people that were doing exactly what I wanted to do. And it was really inspiring. And I had never thought to make my own song or anything. And then I met people and it kind of just aligned. It was right where I was meant to be at the right time, that I met the right people.
Yeah.
And so
you essentially had a forced awakening.
Yeah.
I essentially had something like that too, right? Where you just get to a place where it's like your life is forcing you to look at everything completely different from a different perspective.
Yeah. I feel like I look at everything very deeply, everything's a sign to me. And I've realized to take a step back and not try to control my life and kind of just really feel what my heart and my mind is telling me, my body. I don't think people listen to their intuition enough and they stay in situations, jobs, or whatever it may be, and it's a little bit soul-sucking. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that life's like that. I wouldn't be able to wake up and just do this, have the same, day every single day and, be unhappy with it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to be mediocre. I think we're called to be higher and do better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're called to be fulfilled and to help other people, right? I think that's how we all transform each other. So when you're writing your music, where do you pull that inspiration from? And what do you want your listeners to feel when they listen to you?
So I pull inspiration from when I was younger. I just always loved music. When I got in trouble, when I got sad, I would sit in a corner and I would just cry or sing, make up a song on the spot. And it just was always an outlet for me. And I didn't realize, like, that's actually very interesting to do as a child, like to sit and cry and just make up a random song that probably doesn't make sense. And so as I got a little bit older, I would always write in a journal, and solely based on whatever I was experiencing. So now everything that I go through, I always write about it. As soon as I feel something, I'll write it. And that's like where the quickest, like fastest songs come from, whatever situation I'm going through, a situation someone else tells me. Like I have a lot of empathy and I can feel energy and I can feel people's situations, and I'll just write about it. So it comes solely from my life, from those around me, from situations where people tell me what they're going through. And I feel like it's a very healing thing. How many times have you heard a song where you're like, wow, that's exactly what I'm going through, and I had no idea how to put it into words? Or you hear a song and you're like, I can resonate that when I went and I was with my family on vacation, and it makes you feel safe, it makes you feel good. I think that's like the most important thing about music, is that it's healing, and it's something that is transformative and something that can also show you the growth in yourself. It's a very vulnerable thing to do, to just put my life in a song and then release it.
And I love that, because I think what that does is you're tapping into what your soul purpose is, right? Your inner genius. And through that, you're healing other people through your music. Like that's what we're called to do. I really do believe that. That is incredible. So from the time you were like, okay, I think I want to really go into this industry, was that a long time for you? Did that take you a long time? And what kind of rejection did you face?
It did take me a little while to be like, yeah, I want to do this, because I had it in my heart, like, I should do music, but something inside my brain was like fighting against it, like, no, you can't do it, like, you're not good enough. So I wasn't trying. So
you had a belief system that was running, which is basically a paradigm that's externalized behavior, supporting that belief system, telling you you're not good enough. So how did you rewrite that?
So I woke up one day just kind of disgusted with just not living what I want, the life that I wanted to live. And I just woke up one day and I was like, this is not who I am. I'm not going to be unhappy. I'm not going to stay where I am right now. I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to wake up every day. I'm going to write everything that I want. I'm going to journal as much as possible. And I realized that putting my thoughts on paper helped me kind of realize exactly what kept coming up again and again. And it was that I wanted to do music. So, finally,
so this is really important.
Yeah.
Because journaling is very, it's a big therapeutic modality, but it's also really important for people to get clarity. And I think one thing that a lot of people I work with struggle with is that they're just not clear, right? They just don't have the clarity of like, what do I want? I mean, so many of us walk through life very in this reactive pattern, right? We're not like, we're asleep to this life from this perspective of that. We're really called to be co-creators of our life, not just to be, reactive to it. So, and journaling's interesting because I have found that, I've got really super clear when I really started to just like write stuff down. And, they say when you wake up in the morning and you're in that brainwave pattern of where all your creativity is stored, like the first 10 minutes of your day should be spent like just journaling stuff out. And if you do that over like a 30-day period, you'll start to see a pattern emerge, right? And then you can be like, wow, I started here. And look at all of this clarity that I'm actually, experiencing, for me to start understanding where, what I should be walking towards. And I think that's really important. So is that part of your daily routine now?
So not as much as I would love it to be, but I do write every other day in a journal. and I write out how I feel. I write out my prayers as well. I just think it's just powerful to be able to write something down. I meet people where they're like, oh, I don't like writing, but I'm anxious. And I'm like, you should write in a journal. And they're like, no, I don't like writing. Like, everything's in my mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything's in your mind.
Right.
Where is it supposed to go? So
and that's a scary place to live. If you're only living in your mind, there's a prison up there. You got to get out of that.
So it's like, if you're only living in your mind and you're having anxiousness, you should try to journal. You should try to write it out, because something keeps coming up in your mind. Maybe you should just write it out and then see the patterns and see, oh, it can help you know what to work on. It can help you realize things about yourself that you would never know.
So you decided to do this music career, but you had these thoughts. So walk me through how you overcame those.
So how I overcame those is I just started surrounding myself with people that were like-minded and were doing music and doing that. And it kind of just happened. I became really close with this girl that I had met, and she just so happened to do music and I didn't know. And she helped me write my first song. She took me to my first studio, and it just was really inspiring. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Like, there's no other option. Like, this is
So you just made the decision.
Amazing.
You're
So
like, this is
I made the decision to do it, and I don't regret it. It's like really amazing to me that, again, you're creating something that doesn't exist. You have the power to influence people with emotion, help heal people. And I think that's just so important. And I think the world needs more people that are authentic to themselves and are willing to, like, kind of put their heart out there so that other people can receive it and, like, heal.
I mean, if you think about it, if everybody healed themselves and got really clear and authentic, we would have a very different world.
Yeah.
You know, it would just be a very different place to live. I think it would be amazing. And that's why I like to surround myself with people like that too, because that's, I don't know, I mean, that's your sum of the parts of all the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
so.
you are. And I do notice that since I've, like, worked on myself, and since I've really, like, tried to meditate and pray and just get more clear on what is authentic to me, that it's helped me a lot more. Because before I was always trying to, like, please people, and I still do. Like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody still has tendencies, but it's an ongoing. So that if I could tell anyone anything, it's like the best thing to do is, it's not I'm going to read this book and then it's going to heal me.
Right.
I'm going to journal this day and then it's going to heal me. It's like an ongoing thing. It's something that you have to work at every single day. It's not something you do once a week, twice a week. It's like something you have to do consistently.
And I think it starts with awareness, right? So if you start to get really aware of, I mean, even if you think about the story that you tell yourself every day, like I actually have an app that goes off every hour, and it's like my mindfulness app, but I have it there because I want to make sure I don't get lost in the old story I used to tell myself, and that I'm consistently creating, you know, the story of what I choose my life to be, right? Because it doesn't matter where we came from. It matters right now in this present moment. That's really all you have, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, in this present moment, what is the story I'm telling myself, and how is that helping me create the life that I want? So would you say in your journey, and you have such an interesting journey, I mean, the fact that you had that medical condition and that's what woke you up to go completely change your life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the story I want to get out so much, is that, you know, you had what we would consider a forced awakening, right? Like something had to happen. Like your soul was calling you to do something different, and you were meant to do something specific.
Yeah.
So, and we all have that. We all have some sort of inner genius within us that's waiting to come out and waiting to be, you know, escalated. Yeah. And so what I love about these conversations is that you don't have to have something happen to you in order to get to the place where you're like, wait a second, what is the story I'm telling myself? Like, what is the thoughts, you know, that I have going in my head every day? I mean, I just went through this with somebody last week, and we talked about the fact that, you know, if you think about your belief system, you have a belief, right? And from that belief, and this is psychology 101, but from that beliefs, you have thoughts. And those thoughts then evoke a feeling, right? And that feeling is just solidifying that belief that you have. And so if it's a belief that doesn't serve you, like, I'm really not good enough to do this, I want to do something totally different. But my thoughts are not supporting that because I don't think I'm good enough for it. Then you're going to have feelings that solidify that. Then you're going to take actions, right? That are congruent with the belief you have. And your result is just going to, solidify the fact that you didn't feel good enough, right? So it's like this cyberkinetic effect,
it's
right?
just you saying like, that lie is true.
Yeah. So it's like you have to like cut that cycle. And that's where I think I see a lot of people stuck, is that they're going through this like cycle, and it's like, well, and really it's, David Bayer talks about this a lot, actually. He's like, it's just a decision. Like, you just got to make a new decision.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for some people, you get to a place where it's like life-threatening, or your life falls apart, or, there's like something traumatic that happens that makes you have to make a new decision. But I think in so many people, if you're like listening to this and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't feel like I'm totally fulfilled. I think I'm made for something more. So it's like, how do you get to that place, to the place of, okay, now I'm going to go find my passion. I'm going to go find my purpose, and I'm going to go create fulfillment in my life. It's like, I think the bridging of that gap is what a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, I strongly believe that. And I feel like they also, like, they just allow themselves to stay in that one spot, and they're too scared.
Yeah.
They're too afraid. Their fear just has a hold on them. And that's probably the most difficult thing for people, to just get over that fear.
Yeah.
And I have this rule. I learned it from a TV show that I used to watch, but it's like, if you feel that fear, just allow that fear to have 5 seconds, and that's it. And then do what you need to do. Obviously, only if it's beneficial to you, not if it's something that's negative or bad. But if it's something you feel that you're aligned with, and you're like, I should go do this, like, it would be good for me, but you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough for that. Like, you should just do it. Because that's when the best things happen. You're afraid, and you do it anyways. And it's like, the best outcome comes from that, because there's growth. You're learning and understanding. Even if you end up not having fun or not liking whatever you chose to do, you're learning more about yourself. And I think that's something that some people still need to discover, is every day you're learning something about yourself. When you build friendships, when you go on dates, when you are doing anything in your life, you're learning about yourself. And a lot of people have different triggers, and they don't realize it until they're more, until they delve into relationships. Then they see what triggers them, like when you're close to somebody.
Yeah. I like the 5-second rule, because I think when you start to take the journey into self-awareness, and you really start to get clear on these things, and some people get scared. They're like, wait, I'm not supposed to feel like I can't feel these feelings, and that's not true. You're supposed to honor your human body, right? Like, if you have if you're feeling triggered, it's just how you bounce back from that. So it's like, I like that, though. You give yourself 5 seconds, you let yourself feel it, and then you figure out how to pivot and move on. And those are strategies, I think, that differ for everybody, right? And how they do that. But I think being aware of that is really, is really important.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to get into the music industry, since that's where you are, like, what advice would you have for someone who's like, hey, I think that I have a voice and I want to be heard and a talent here?
I think that your biggest, your best asset is like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Because obviously, if you're not posting anything, how is someone supposed to discover you? Yeah. When I was
and now we have all these like tools that you can just do that. You don't need a PR. You don't need a, you can kind of do that yourself.
I think it's a lot easier for people to decide to do something in the music industry, because we have all those social media platforms. Yeah. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. At any moment on TikTok, someone can go viral if they put in the work and try hard enough. It just takes that one video. So you could be one video away from your dreams, literally. Yeah. And then that just catapults into just an accumulation of viral videos. And then you're doing music and you're doing concerts and stuff like that. So I think the best advice I could give for that is to start making videos and to start writing, to start learning and going on YouTube. Like, you should be learning something new every single day or every week when you have the opportunity. If you should be able to just,
So what if you get to a place though, you're like, I've experienced so much rejection, and your mindset, you're back to being a prisoner in your mindset because you're not seeing the forward movement. Like, where do you lean in to get that inspiration and move you forward?
So for me, I believe that every passion is put in your heart for a purpose, and God didn't just create you to have that heart for that for no reason. So I think that if something's in your heart and it keeps coming up, and you keep experiencing rejection, that's just making you better. It's hard. Whatever is difficult doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be rejection. Like when you're doing anything in life, not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone is gonna tell you yes. But if you don't knock, the answer is always gonna be no. But for those 100, 1,000 no's, there's gonna be 5 yeses. Mm-hmm. And maybe all the other no's is because it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And then those 5 yeses have more quality. It's more powerful. It's more meaningful. And it also helps you appreciate what you're doing. If I woke up tomorrow, or if I was 13 years old and just became the biggest star, I never had to work for it. Like, let's say my parents were famous, or for whatever reason, my cards were, whatever was in the cards for me was that I was 13 years old and famous and never had to work for anything. Mm-hmm. Didn't have to learn on my own. Mm-hmm. Didn't get rejection. Mm-hmm. You'll have a certain personality, mm-hmm. and you won't have depth to you. Mm. And so all those rejections, all the things that you have to go through to get to where you want to be, make it so much more special. Why do you just want to be handed something? Yeah. Then you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the same.
And I think what you said is important too, because it's almost like you're looking at rejection as something that's happening for you, not to you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and when you can flip the narrative on that and say, I really wanted this to work out, but in some way this is happening for me. This is for my benefit, right? Yeah. And then what is waiting for you on the other side of that is probably incredible. How do you navigate your faith in the entertainment industry?
So, I have a strong relationship with God, and I think that also is what keeps me sane and also gives me a lot of hope. How I navigate it is I try to be a light in everyone's life. And sometimes it comes off because I try to be so nice to everybody, because you never know what someone's going through. Like, what's the point in being mean or dismissive or acting like someone's not important, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's important. And you have to act like that. You have to be like that, because everyone is important. And I basically just try to be kind to everyone. I try to be very intentional and genuine. And I'm not someone who will throw God like in your face and like, oh, you need to believe in God. But I do try to display my faith with my actions and how I treat people.
Well, yeah, and that'll speak louder than anything you could say.
So I think that's like the most important thing for me is I am displaying love that I feel from God to other people. Because even people that are rude, I'm still going to be nice to them. Yeah. People that are nice, I'm still going to be nice to them. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to try my best to show up for you in the best way that I can, whether you do or not. And that's just what I've learned. And I just think I always get put in situations, too, where I'll just randomly be talking to someone and I'll say something. And they're like, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm just a strong believer, like, we're all connected, right? We all come from a source, from God, from energy, from the universe. We're all connected at the end of the day. Yep. So we all know, and we all like have this feeling and this pull towards certain people. And I think at certain points of my life, I have, like, people come in your life in seasons, and I have ran into people or had conversations with people that I really need and that were very pivotal for me, and really showed me a lot about myself and showed me how God will send people to tell you something that you need to hear. So I try to just allow God for me to be the vessel when I speak to people. And that's
so
how
powerful. I love that.
Yeah.
So tell me then about your morning routine. Do you have like a specific way that you stay grounded every day?
Yeah, so sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I would love to stay in bed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stay up late.
Well, we all would.
And love to stay in bed. But something that I'm in routine of right now is when I kind of wake up, instead of falling back asleep, I will just force myself to get up. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get up right away. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I wash my face with cold water, and then I go and I do like 30 minutes on the treadmill. And I feel like that motivates me more. Sometimes I wake up really early and do Pilates, which I also think is very like motivating. I mean, any type of exercise reduces your depression as well. So it's really good for you, and it really like just like jump starts your mind, and it's healthy for you. It's a good thing to help you clear your mind too. Like when I'm walking on the treadmill, I'll be thinking of ideas. It's like the best time to think of ideas, or I'll listen to music. Sometimes I sing on the treadmill. Like if nobody's in the gym at my apartment, I'll like sing on the treadmill with my headphones, like super loud. It's also beneficial for you as a singer.
Yeah.
So I'll do that.
Isn't that how Taylor Swift did her prep for her concert?
I think
she
that
sang for like 3 hours or 6 hours, like while she was running. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's like the best. Oh, I'm going to fix my necklace really fast. I think that's like the best. My best morning routine is like just forcing myself to get up when I'm like barely getting up. Because then if you go back to sleep, you can sleep for like 5 more hours. And then when you wake up, you feel lazy and like kind of dragged down. So I like to not waste my day. Like every day to me is like new. Anything can happen today. Anything can happen tomorrow. Like we're not promised tomorrow, so I feel like you should show up every day how you want to be, and just like excited. Because you could go to the store and you can meet like your husband. You could go to the store and you can meet someone who wants you to be on a song. You can go anywhere and just bump into someone at the gas station. It doesn't matter. Like, and I think people need to start thinking like that and being more passionate about life and seeing the magic in life. And that's just really what I strongly believe, because if you don't think this life is magical, like it's very dull. But
yeah, and I think that's the difference too with people who, you know, are doing the same thing every day, or they're in a job that they're cycling in and they're not excited about. And they're not, it's like you have to just rewrite that narrative and be like, well, wait a second, like what is today going to bring me? Like what, I always ask people when, you know, when they're feeling stuck, how do you feel about Monday morning? Like what's your approach to Monday morning? That's going to tell you a lot in terms of how you feel about what you're doing every day. You know, how you're approaching your work. Are you able to find fulfillment in that? Are you able to attach your purpose to your work? There's a lot of the intangibles that are really important, you know, for the human experience, to feel like you're living a life that you're excited about. And that comes when you are fulfilled and you're helping other people, and that transformation happens for you and for them. So, well, this was a really amazing conversation, and I'm really impressed with you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So my last 2 questions: what would you tell yourself 6 months ago? And I always ask people this question because, you know, I know there's a lot of times we could say, what would you say to your younger self and so forth. But our lives can change, like you said, in an instant, right? It can change quickly. And so, and I think that evolution, right? Every 6 months, every 8 months, you know, your life can be very different. And so what's the advice you'd give yourself 6 months ago?
So I wrote a note, so I'm going to look at it really fast.
Oh, okay. We like notes.
Yes, we love notes. Okay. So something I would have told myself 6 months ago, and I tell myself even every day now, is to just trust the process. Everybody's timing is different. Don't compare yourself. If you're comparing yourself, you're not going to be happy. Everyone's timing is different. Tomorrow could be your time. A year from now can be your time. So that is the best advice that I would give myself, is just trust the process. You're not on anyone's timeline. There's no timeline. Like everything happens for a reason, and what's meant for you will come will come at the right timing.
And I like that because if someone's watching you, they're like, oh, yeah, it's easy for her to say that because she's already in the industry. She's working on her music. She's so pretty. But you weren't always sitting in this chair. No. You had to go through your own process, right?
I was sitting in my room working from home because of COVID. Even after that, I was still working from home, just depressed all the time.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore.
You made the decision that you want something better for yourself.
Yes. I'm sick of being mediocre. I'm going to change everything.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So good. Yes. Okay, so if somebody wants to find you and your music, and I will put this in the show notes so you'll have all the links, but tell them how they can find you.
So if you guys want to find my Instagram, it is Juliet Love, JulietLubb. And then if you want to find my Spotify, the link is also in my bio. I have music on Spotify and Apple. It's actually under Jules, Jules, but she'll also put the link.
We'll make sure you have ample access to all of our info. So thank you. Thank you guys for joining us. You know, if you're in a place where you're like, I wonder if I need to really rethink the story I'm telling myself, or if I really need to shift my mindset, you can text 55444. Text the word shift to 55444. I'll send you a free assessment checklist, and take it and see where you land. And, you know, if you need some help, you can always reach out. Thank you so much.
Can I add something else?
You absolutely can.
If you're someone who, let's say, like obviously music could not be your passion, it could be something something else, or at the same time, maybe you don't even know what your passion is. It doesn't matter how old you are. I think you should do random things that you would never do to try to figure out what makes you happy, to live your life and not just, don't allow yourself to feel stuck. You can do whatever you want to do at any age. Doesn't matter what it is. You can travel to Italy, you can travel wherever you want, and you should do it. You shouldn't waste your time, and you shouldn't waste your life. So whatever sign that is for you, I hope that you take it. But yeah, I think that's like really important.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, our life is meant to be lived. So
yes.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You.
Leadership on Purpose, a featured presentation, airs every Monday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Leadership on Purpose is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skincare, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Leadership on Purpose listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/leadership and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner affiliate at livepure.com/leadership. Or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.